morning is the 17th day of Menachem Av, and we are, Baruch Hashem, into our fourth week of learning Amud Yomi, and we are on Daf Yud Beis Amud Beis, back in the Gemara's commentary on our Mishnah, after we have discussed the opinions of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir with regards to how long people could normatively make mistakes, mess up with regards to their eating of chametz. We had seen machlokas between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, and then a general discussion about how long people make mistakes in terms of timing. And now the Gemara is going to continue with explaining our Mishnah based on what we've worked out, the opinions of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir, for how long people will mess up with timing in general. Says the Gemara, we are right almost just below the top of Daf Yud Beis Amud Beis. Says the Gemara, Tanan, Rabbi Meir Omer, we learned in the Mishnah, the opinion of Rabbi Meir is that everybody is allowed to eat their chametz all of the first 5 hours of the day, and they burn it at the beginning of the 6th hour, meaning there's no gap, there's no waiting time. You can eat chametz all the way up until 11 a.m. and then at 11 a.m. you begin to burn the chametz. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yehuda have the opinion that you can eat only for the first 4 hours of the day until 10 a.m. We're telling Kol Chamish from 10 to 11. You have to wait. You are suspended. And then you burn the chametz at the beginning of the 6th hour at 11 a.m. as well. Says the Gemara as follows: according to Abaye, Ali b'Reb Meir, understanding Reb Meir, you remember Abaye's opinion that said the Amar ein adam tov lo klum, that Reb Meir is of the opinion that you don't end up at any point in time making any mistake. People don't make mistakes with time. We assume that everybody gets it right. So he asked the question, why are you not allowed to eat for all of the 6 hour? We know that you're going to be able to, you know exactly what time things are. And according to that understanding that Abaye said, that a person will make a little bit of a mistake, a couple of minutes. So we say that you can eat it until almost until the end of the 6th hour. I mean, why is there any reason to tell people you're not allowed to eat all the way until the end of the 6th hour, or just about to the end of the 6th hour? People don't make mistakes with time. Says the Gemara, Abaye aliv Rabbi Yehuda, according to Abaye, understanding the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar who says Adam Tayeh Chatzi Shadar, a person can make a mistake up to half an hour. So say that you can eat until 11:30. According to the opinion within Abaye that says Adam Tayeh Shah Mashu Nechal Ad Sev Chamish. So and according to that understanding of Rabbi Yehuda, the person would make a mistake up until the about an hour. So Adam Tayeh Shah Mashu. So Nechal Ad Sev Chamish. So then say that you can eat the chamish, the chametz until the end of the 5th hour, meaning until just before 11 a.m. Why would you tell people that you need to end up eating the chametz until 10 a.m. only the first 4 hours of the day? Says the Gemara as follows: Abaye says, "Edus Masur Zrisim Chametz LeKol Maser." That while it is true that we assume in the case of Edus, in the case of giving testimony, that people are not going to be making mistakes, that's because the kind of people that show up to give testimony, those are the kinds of people that understand that their words are very weighty, that what they're saying is going to be heavily scrutinized, and because of that, we assume that there's reason. Rashi points out here, "In adam ba lahayid al hanefesh el imkin baki b'shas." Nobody's coming to give testimony about life and death matters unless they know exactly what time it is. Lefi she'dehu she'sofa lidarish b'drisha v'chahira, because he knows he's going to be cross-examined, he's going to be questioned on this. But with regards to chametz master lakol master, chametz al hakol mutar. Everybody is obligated in the halachas of chametz matzah. And if you don't know exactly what time things are going to be, so then you're going to end up making mistakes. That's why, says Abaye, that both according to Rabbi Meir and according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Chachamim were much more machmer when it comes to chametz than when they came to edus, giving testimony. Virabba aluvid Rabbi Meir, according to Rabba, who thinks Rabbi Meir has a much longer period of time, and Rabbi Yehuda that is an even longer period of time. Rabba aluvid Rabbi Meir, the Amar Adam Tarish Teishaz. Chasim Asher, that a person is going to make a mistake up until just under 2 hours. So then, you, according to Meir, you shouldn't be able to eat even from the beginning of the 5th hour. Meaning, a person is going to make a mistake up to 2 hours. So from the beginning of the 5th hour, that's from 11 a.m. From the beginning of the 5th hour, which would be 10 a.m. You should also prohibit eating. So we say chamish chamim b'mizrach v'sheva chamim b'marav. Nah, people aren't going to make such severe mistakes between the 5th hour and the 7th hour, because that one would be the morning and that one would be the afternoon. Says the Gemara, then why can't he eat all the way through the 6th hour of the day? Nobody's going to make a mistake between morning and afternoon. Amar Rav Ada bar Ava says, Rav Ada bar Ava, she's Yomi bekarnasakai. In the 6th hour of the day, the sun stands in the middle. So we could tell people, make sure that you don't eat chametz up until midday. Even though people could get mistaken up until 2 hours, they're not going to be mistaken from morning until midday. But in the 6th hour of the day, from the just before midday to just after midday, the hour on either side. So there, Yom Karnasakai, the sun is punked in the middle, and therefore it's going to be difficult for people to ascertain exactly whether it is before midday or after midday, and that's why, even though people make mistakes up to 2 hours, and that's reasonable, we would not allow them to eat all the way until midday, because then they're going to end up violating the issur of eating chametz after the shas issur midaraisa. Says the Gemara, Rabba Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabba, in the understanding of Rabbi Yehuda, that a person makes a mistake. The Amar, he says, the Adam Toy Shalashaz Chasem Ashu, the person makes a mistake up to 3 hours, minus a little bit. Mitchilas Arba Lo Nechal, so then he shouldn't be eating chametz already from 9 a.m., meaning from the beginning of the 4th hour. So we say chamesh with regards to the 5th hour of the day. Chame b'mizrach, the sun is going to be in the mizrach. V'sheva chame b'marav, and the 7th hour, the sun is going to be in the marav. V'kol shekain arba. How much more so when it comes to the 4th hour of the day? So we say ihachi v'chamesh nami leichal. So we say nobody's going to get confused by the 4th hour of the day. Meaning, we will say it's true. People could get mistaken up to 3 hours, but not when there's such a severe swing with regards to where the sun is going to be positioned. Meaning, nobody's going to think that 9 o'clock in the morning is 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So if that's true, says the Gemara, so then why would you not allow them to eat all the way to the end of the 5th hour? Meaning that's in the morning. Nobody's going to make a mistake from morning to afternoon. So Targuma Abaya Alid B'Rava. So Abaya explained in accordance with the opinion of Rava, meaning when Abaya heard that question, he said, according to Rava, Rava would say the same as me. That Rava agrees that there's a difference between the way the Chazal understood Eidus and the way that Chazal understood the Issur of Chametz. But Rava disagreed with that. Rava said, that's not what I hold. I mean, Abaye says Rava must agree with me, that it's a question of Zrizim, that Eidus has a... that the people that shop for Eidus are not going to make such mistakes, and the people that shop for Chametz, that's everybody, they do make mistakes. But Rava says, no, Rabbi Yehuda, that's not the reason for Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda is consistent. Rabbi Yehuda is consistent with his own rationale, the Amar, that he says, Ein bir chametz ela sreifa, that the only way to fulfill the mitzvah of bir chametz is sreifa, is through burning it. V'yavu le rabbanan sha'achas dilkot eitzim. And the rabbanan had to ensure, even though he's not going to make mistakes, even though nobody's making mistakes from morning to afternoon, the rabbanan had to ensure that he has an extra hour in order to burn his chametz, meaning he needs to collect the wood in order to burn the chametz. And when the Torah says that you have to get rid of chametz, that means you have to burn the chametz. Now, this is an interesting machlokas. It's a classic lamdisha question with regards to the mitzvah of tashbisu, of getting rid of chametz. Does that mean that there is a mitzvah to ensure that there is no chametz in your house, or that you are actively obligated to burn chametz? What's the nafkamina? Do you need to, on Erev Pesach, go out and buy some chametz in order to fulfill the mitzvah of sreifas chametz, burning chametz? Now, that's not exactly what Rabbi Yehuda is saying here. He's saying that the only way that you can fulfill the obligation of getting rid of the chametz, not necessarily that you are obligated to go and buy chametz in order to burn, but the only way that you can fulfill the obligation of destroying chametz is to burn it. Says the Gemara, Rava is attacked by Ravina. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Yehuda says, Emasai, when, Shaloi b'shas biura, aval b'shas biura hashbasasai b'chol davar. We have a brisa that says as follows. Rabbi Yehuda says as follows, when am I going to tell you that you need to burn it? Shaloi b'shas biura, at the point in time that is before the time to get rid of the chametz. Aval b'shas biura, but at the time that the Torah says you need to get rid of chametz, hashbasas b'chol davar, that's where you can destroy chametz with any means necessary. Whatever you are going to do, that is reasonable. It says Rashi, Shaloi b'shas biura. What is called Shaloi b'shas biura? B'tchila sheish, at the beginning of the 6th hour. Meaning, you could ask, when exactly is the shas bir? So Rashi says B'tchila sheish, at the beginning of the 6th hour. V'kol sheish da'akasim da'raisa shari. Aval b'shas biura b'sheva shehu muzar min ha'torah hashbasas b'chol davar. V'torach zeh lama. So he says, getting rid of the chametz on Erev Pesach up until the end of the 6th hour, meaning up until midday. So that's considered to be Shaloi b'shas biura, at the point in time before the Isur kicks in. But once it hits Shas biura, b'shas biura b'sheva at midday, shehu musar min ha'torah, now it's an Isur right? So hashbasas b'chol davar, then get rid of it in any way that you can. V'torach zeh lama. Why would you need to go and collect wood in order to do this? Im ein lo eitzim yamtin ad shas biura. If you don't have any wood, just wait until noon. V'yashv'sana b'chol davar, and then get rid of it in whatever way you want. Says the Gemara, Ela Amar Rava says, Gzer misham yoma una. No. All of this discussion is predicated upon the fact that people are going to be telling the time based on looking up at the sky. What happens if Erev Pesach is a cloudy day? It's happened in the history of the Jewish people that it's a cloudy day. And therefore, says Rabbi Yehuda, no, I need to give you an hour to collect wood because you don't know what time of day is. You don't know what time it is at all. Says the Gemara, if this is so, so if it's a cloudy day, so then we should tell you that in the 4th hour of the day, you also should not be eating chametz. According to Rava, within Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, you have until the end of the 4th hour of the day. Everybody agrees that you need to stop eating chametz by hour number by 10 a.m. Why? Said that you should stop eating chametz much earlier than that. So Amar Rav Papa says, Arba zman su'uda lakol. Everybody's eating breakfast at the 4th hour of the day. It says everybody eats breakfast at the 4th hour of the day. By the time everybody's around eating, nobody's going to be getting confused. So, meaning after breakfast time, your stomach is rumbling. Yeah, you know what time everybody is eating. It says Rashi, I call bikimba. Everybody knows that your natural instinct kicks in by the fourth hour of the day. But thereafter, it's going to be very confusing to understand where we are in the day. Says the Gemara. Now that we have understood that there are certain meal times that people have, says the Gemara. Well, what meal times are there? So Tana Rabbanan, the Rabbanan said as follows: Shari Shaina, the first hour of the morning. That's Machal Ludim. That's the eating time for Ludim. What exactly are Ludim? So this is an interesting group of people. Machal Ludim. So Shnia is Machal Listim. Listim we know are bandits. Ludim don't really show up very often in Shas, but Ludim, says Rashi, is Ravtanim. Hey, these are ravenous people. The difference between Ludim and Listim is Listim are up the whole night. They work at night, and they take a nap in the first hour of the day, and then they eat. What about Ludim? So Ludim apparently are cannibals. That they are Rav Tanim. They're starving. They're hungry. They wake up first in the morning. They eat. Shlishis, the third hour of the day. Michael Yershim. That is the today we would translate them as trust fund babies. Rashi calls these Yershim Lav Mishum Rav Tanis Ela Hel V'Lo Amlubai. These are people that eat. No, they're not hungry. They just they never worked for a living, so they eat already by the third hour of the day. So Michael Yershim, trust fund babies, they eat in the third hour of the day. Revius, the fourth hour of the day. Michael Palim, that's for working people. Working people eat in the fourth hour of the day. That's normative time for people to eat. Chamishis, the fifth hour of the day, is Michael Talmidei Chachamim. That's the time of eating for Talmidei Chachamim. Why that the time for eating for Talmidei Chachamim? Well, because they're busy. They're davening and they're learning before. Shishis, Michael Kol Adam, and by the sixth hour of the day, that is when everybody has eaten, or everybody else is eating. This is now going to challenge what we just said. V'amar Papa said, Revius Mansud L'Kolhi, that everybody eats by the fourth hour. That's not true. Only Palim are going to be eating by the fourth hour. So you say, Ela Ipuch, no, flip it around. Revius Machal Kol Adam, by the fourth hour of the day. That's when everybody eats. Chamishis, the fifth hour of the day is Machal Palim, is when workers go out to eat, and Shishis is Machal Talmidei Chachamim. The sixth hour of the day, that's when Talmidei Chachamim are going to start eating. Mikan Va'elach, thereafter, what happens if you eat afterwards? Because Zerk Evan Lechemes, it's like throwing a rock into a water bottle, meaning it's not going to do anything. That it doesn't make a dent, doesn't make a splash. You're not going to benefit from eating. You already you fasted half the day. Amar Abaya says, that's only true if you haven't had anything in the morning. If you haven't tasted anything in the morning. But if you had a little bit to eat in the morning, you had a shmek of food, so then you don't have to be concerned with it. This comes up a little bit with regards to like Kiddush and Shabbos. So Aminak today is we daven later than people used to daven in the days of the Mishnayos. They said in the days of the Gemaras. You have a 9 o'clock minyan, and then on a Yom Tov you could depending on daylight savings, not daylight savings, you end up with a situation that you finish davening around midday, which means that you've already been fasting for half the day, and this is weiter much more of a problem b'dafka with Rosh Hashanah. So if you start at 9 o'clock meeting Rosh Hashanah, you finish davening by 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock. You fasted for more than half of the day, and now it's Kazok Evan Lechemes, and now we've downgraded from owning Yom Tov. So Rishach says, I don't understand the whole tumult. Just have a cup of coffee before davening. That is entirely mutter. You can have a little bit to drink before davening, and then you time midi. You had something, you tasted something, and now you are not fasting. Now there's no chisaron in onig in onig Shabbos in Simchas Yom Tov. You're not going to have any problems with that. Says the Gemara as follows. Amar of Ashi. Rav Ashi says as follows. We have been pointing out, at least the way that Abai has been saying it over, is that the same way that is that there's a difference between Edus and Chametz. When it comes to Edus, the Edim is Rizim, and when it comes to Chametz, Masala Kol, and people make mistakes. Says Rav Ashi, like the Machlokes with regards to giving Edus, Kach Machlokes b'Chametz, the same there is a Machlokes with regards to chametz. Says the Gemara Pshita, this is obvious. It's exactly what we said. We said that that there's no difference between edus and chametz, at least for Rafa. So we say hakamash malan. What are we saying? Shinu de shaninan shnihu v'loy tema tanahi. So what are we saying? That the answer that we just gave, the answer we just gave to explain the difference between chametz and edus for Yom Mu'unan, so that's a legitimate, that's a good explanation. V'lo tema tanahi. Don't say that is part of the machlokas between Reb Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. That's a valid rationale, and everybody agrees to it. Amar of Simi Bar Ashi says, Rav Simi Bar Ashi, Lo Shanu Ela B'Shas. They only taught this about, with regards to the Edus, they only taught this about hours. Aval Echad Omer Kodim Hanetzachama Echad Omer Achad Hanetzachama Edus and Betela. But if somebody says that this happened before sunrise, and the other one says that happened after sunrise, then the Edus is going to be batal. Says the word Pshita. No, that's obvious. Well, who's going to make a mistake between sunrise and between night and day? So this is an interesting concept. Says the Gemara, one of them says before the sun rose, during sunrise. The edus is also going to be batal. So that's the Gemara. No, that's also obvious. What would you have said? Tarvayu chad milsa ka'amri. That both of them are saying the same thing. Before sunrise and during sunrise is the same time period. They would say Tarvayu chad milsa ka'amri, that they are agreeing to the same concept, to the same time. V'had ka'amar, and that which they said going on to Yud Gimel and Aleph Pesach Netzachama, during Netzachama, Big Giluya Havakai was he was standing out in the middle of a field. The Zahuri Ba'almahu de Chaza. What did he see? He only saw the rays of light, but he didn't see the actual sun. Kamash Malan, that is not the case. That Netzachama, we don't assume that people are going to get mistaken between before sunrise and once the sun has already risen but hasn't fully made its way over the horizon. That's called Pesach Netzachama. That person's going to make a mistake and is going to say, no, I think I saw the sun, but I didn't see the sun. All that I saw was the rays of the sun. People don't make those mistakes. We should just point out that the phrase Pesach Netzachama really is somewhat of a misnomer, because we assume that Netzachama is as Rashi points out, is Kshemaschel Hanetz, means once the Netz has started. Netzachama is not a time period. Netzachama is an instant in time. Meaning, we have periods of time. Yomi is a period of time. Laila is a period of time. Bein hashmashas is a period of time. But Netzachama is an instant in time. It's a point. It's not a line. It's a point on the clock. It is an exact moment. So what does it mean? B'sech Netzachama? Rashi says shemaschel Netz. When the Netz began, I mean the moment that the sun has peaked over the horizon, that's called Netz has occurred. And then there's be a couple more minutes for the sun to fully rise. But Netzachama is that second. So somebody says Lifnei Netz, Kodem Netz, and one says afterwards, while the sun is still rising. We don't assume that they are agreeing to the same time period, even though you could have the argument says this was Rav Simi Bar Ashi, that you could, in theory, say that somebody's saying, no, I think I saw the sunrise, but it really wasn't the sunrise. It was just the rays of the sun that they saw from the window because they were not standing outside. And we will continue with Daf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. You can see that its sun is rising over here. The glasses are getting dark out here. Baruch Hashem. Everybody should have a marvelous day, and I will see you all tomorrow at 6:15.